Amid all the delays, it's good to know that there are still tons of games to look forward to this year. Granted, some of these could still be pushed back, but we'll try not to jinx it. Here are 30 games still coming in 2020 and why you should look forward to them. Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers is slowly revealing itself, highlighting its campaign, hero missions, loot, and co-op war zones. Thus far, the gameplay showcased a competent, action-packed title with a variety of styles for each hero, from the Hulk's rough-and-tumble brawling to Thor's lightning-infused combos. Will the game-as-a-service approach be compelling enough for all types of players? We'll find out when it launches on September 9th for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia, with next-gen versions coming later. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The ship bound for Valhalla has seen a number of leaks, even by Ubisoft standards. Regardless, we have a better idea of the trials and battles that await Eivor the Viking, whether it's tending to the settlement, conducting a raid on Berg Castle, or battling an embittered ghost warrior. A lot has changed with regards to combat, upgrades, and storytelling. Time will tell if it's a better experience though. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is out this holiday season for Xbox Series X, PS5, PS4, PC, Xbox One, and Google Stadia. Hades. Supergiant's action RPG roguelite has had an excellent stint in early access, wooing everyone with its contemporary rock tracks. New infernal arms, aspects, and abilities, along with even more boons, have been added with the latest update, which serves as the last before launch. Anyone with a passing interest in roguelites and Supergiant's sense of style are advised to keep an eye on Hades in the coming months. Ghost of Tsushima. Arguably the last major PS4 exclusive for this generation, Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima is a massive undertaking. It takes place on the island of Tsushima in the late 13th century as protagonist Jin Sakai battles against the first Mongol invasion. Jin utilizes a mix of samurai techniques and guerrilla warfare while exploring a massive world, building his reputation as the terrifying ghost in the process. Ghost of Tsushima is out on July 17th with reviews going live on July 14th. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Xbox Game Studios and Asobo Studio have been working steadily on the next Microsoft Flight Simulator with a closed beta planned for July 30th. As the franchise's first sequel in years, it definitely looks incredible, utilizing photogrammetry to render the world realistically. With more than 2 million cities and towns and pretty much every major airport in the world, Microsoft Flight Simulator should be on every Flight Sims fan radar, no pun intended. It's currently planned to release this year for Xbox One and PC. Halo Infinite. It's been nearly 5 years since Halo 5 Guardians launched and over 2 years since Halo Infinite was announced. The focus returns to Master Chief and the eponymous Halo ring, with rumors speaking of single-take camera shots akin to God of War. Though it uses a brand new engine and features the return of split screen, we're still waiting to see it in action later this month. Until then, Halo Infinite is out this holiday season for PC, Xbox One, and Series X, so there's still plenty of time to get the hype train rolling. Dirt 5. It might have been enough to announce a new Dirt title for current and next-gen consoles. However, Codemasters is making some major changes with Dirt 5, introducing a more narrative-focused campaign with voice talent like Troy Baker and Nolan North. The career mode also offers branching paths with over 130 events, 12 car classes, 10 locations, dynamic weather, and much more. Dirt 5 will release on October 9th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, but the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions might be worth waiting for, especially since they support 120 frames per second. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Ichiban Kasuga is finally coming west. Yakuza Like a Dragon may seem like a huge departure from previous games with its turn-based combat and setting of Isizaka Ejincho and Yokohama. However, the series' trademark humor and serious drama is intact with hefty class and weapon customization, side stories, minigames, and much more. It even features appearances by Kiro, Majima, and Sejima. Yakuza Like a Dragon is currently planned for release on Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC later this year. Mafia Definitive Edition. After the horrid treatment that Mafia 2 and 3 received, all eyes are on Mafia Definitive Edition to deliver. It's a full-fledged remake for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, which means better-looking textures, lighting, and environments. One can also expect all-new gameplay sequences and cutscenes, along with a more bustling city life. With the game being delayed to September 25th, there's hope for it to be a more polished product overall. The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4. The epic saga finally comes to a close when The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4 releases on October 27th for PS4. What's going on with Rain Schwarzer? What new crisis faces Erebonia? It's up to Class 7, both new and old, to investigate. Lost Arts, Battle Orders, and other signature features return along with the largest cast in the series to date. It's been a long wait for the localization, but it should be worth it. ASTRO'S Playroom. As a sequel of sorts to the incredible Astrobot rescue mission, ASTRO'S Playroom will come bundled with the PS5 at launch. It's a platformer, but one that fashions its 4 worlds on various DualSense functions, namely haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. That being said, it still looks like a fun time and a perfect flagship title for the console's launch. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Confusions aside about this being a full-fledged game, expansion, or enhanced version, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will feature a brand new story taking place 1 year after the base game. Miles will become a hero in his own right with new set pieces and villains to take down in his journey. Compared to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in size and scope, Marvel's Spider-Man will launch with the PS5 this holiday season. Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope. Supermassive's horror anthology takes a detour into Little Hope in New England. 4 college students and their professor find themselves trapped in the town and must unravel its terrifying history. Featuring the same decision-making and dialogue systems as Madame Medan, the Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope should provide some decent scares when it launches on October 30th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. CYBERPUNK 2077. Numerous delays have done nothing to dull our enthusiasm for CYBERPUNK 2077, CD Projekt Red's massive FPS RPG. Players assume the role of V, venturing throughout Night City and taking on a variety of quests while Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, buzzes around. An in-depth character creator, multiple life paths, branching storylines, multiple factions, and a variety of weapons and abilities, all of this and more await in CYBERPUNK 2077. It's out on November 19th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. FIFA 21. Another year, another iteration of FIFA with its Ultimate Team mode card packs. Oddly enough, EA hasn't released too many details about FIFA 21, which is out on October 9th, aside from the addition of EUFA Champions League and CONMEBOL Libertadores, along with homegrown talent for career mode. It will also feature a deferred lighting system and fast loading times on PS5 and Xbox Series X. For everyone else on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Switch, expect more details soon. Godfall. Though known more for its digital CCG duelist, Counterplay Games goes the hack-and-slash looter route with Godfall. The world is in peril, again, and it's up to the remaining Knights Order to save it. Traversing across 4 elemental planes, player can choose different classes, each with different valor plates. Powerful weapons and drop-in, drop-out co-op define Godfall, but we'll see how it measures up against the competition when it arrives later this year for PS5 and PC. Kena Bridge of Spirits. Ember Lab's stunning action-adventure Kena Bridge of Spirits is coming to PS5 first and then PS4 and PC later. It's all about Kena, a young spirit guide who works with spirit companions called the Rot. While story details are still sparse, the worlds have looked vibrant and lively thus far. With support for DualSense, Kena Bridge of Spirits should serve nicely as a PS5 launch title. Deathloop. Colt the Assassin has seen better days. Sent to take down 8 targets on Black Reef Island, he finds himself trapped in a never-ending time loop. If that weren't enough, he has to contend with Juliana, also an assassin who tries to stop him at every turn. Combining Arcane's signature gameplay with its optional invasion-style multiplayer and roguelite elements, Deathloop is looking to be a stylish affair. It releases this holiday season for PS5 and PC. No More Heroes 3. Travis Touchdown makes his return to Santa Destroy, battling alien assassins to save the planet. Gameplay-wise, players will battle Avengers-scale threats and also have the Death Glove from Travis Strikes Again to use. Not much else is known about No More Heroes 3, including when it will release, but it's coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch this year. Outriders. It's probably no exaggeration to say that Outriders, People Can Fly's upcoming looter shooter, has a bit of everything. There are large areas teeming with side quests, world tiers for some Diablo-style grinding, extensive customization for its 3 classes, a hub called the First City, a traveling base in the form of a truck, and much more. With more than 60 hours of content, including the endgame, Outriders is worth keeping an eye on, if nothing else. It releases in holiday 2020 for current and next-gen consoles. Star Wars Squadrons. Finally, EA is delivering a spiritual successor of sorts to titles like Star Wars X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Star Wars Squadrons features a single-player campaign set after the Return of the Jedi and bounces back and forth between the Empire and the New Republic. You'll command X-Wings, TIE Fighters, TIE Bombers, A-Wings, and more, diverting power from shields and executing some crazy maneuvers. Multiplayer from 5v5 battles to larger fleet battles is also included and will thankfully have no microtransactions. Star Wars Squadrons releases on October 2nd for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Following an incident by vampires in Seattle, read mass murder and conversion, the player awakens as a new Thin Blood. After choosing their discipline, they quickly run afoul of the various full blood clans and must decide who to align with. Various side quests, along with the freedom to do almost anything, await, but time will tell if Hardsuit Labs' sequel can live up to the cult classic. It's out this year for Xbox One, PS4, PC, Xbox Series X, and PS5. Wasteland 3. inXile Entertainment's massive turn-based strategy RPG is still on track for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Team November has been wiped out. You're the last member and must survive in the wasteland of Colorado. This means dealing with all kinds of factions, taking on missions, outfitting your crew, and engaging in turn-based combat over 50 hours of campaign gameplay. Wasteland 3 releases on October 28th, so it's not much longer now. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Don't call it a comeback. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 comprises ground-up remasters of the first two games developed by Toys for Bob. Aside from the revert, spine transfer, and wall plant from latter games being added, everything is as you remember it. All of the levels, almost all of the music tracks, and pretty much every pro skateboarder from the original games, along with some new ones, are here. The reunion starts on September 4th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Speaking of reunions, Crash is back. Yes, Crash Bandicoot, and no, every other platformer after Warped is moot. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time sees Crash and Coco teaming with the Quantum Masks to save the multiverse after Neo Cortex's meddling. New levels, new powers, and even Cortex himself being playable should help provide yet another awesome platforming experience. It's out on October 2nd for PS4 and Xbox One. The Medium. After attempting to channel PT with its Layers of Fear series, Bloober Team is now just going ahead and making a Silent Hill style game. The Medium focuses on, spoilers, a medium who can see both the real world and spirit world. When visions of a child's murder haunt you, it's off to an abandoned hotel to discover the truth. Featuring a dual soundtrack with Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka on board, the Medium releases this holiday season for Xbox Series X and PC. Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion's Play As Anyone idea is one that has got many people more than a little excited to get their hands on the game. If executed properly, it could potentially present players with a vast array of options for how to tackle any given objective, and based on gameplay footage, it certainly looks so far like it'll be properly implemented. Watch Dogs Legion releases on October 29th for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia, and will also be coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Project Cars 3. Project Cars 3 has its work cut out for it between Gran Turismo 7 and the next Forza coming up. With over 140 circuits, a revamped career mode, seasons, day and night cycles, dynamic weather, and much more, Slightly Mad Studios is certainly pulling out all of the stops. Hopefully everything will be polished enough by the time it launches. Project Cars 3 releases on October 28th for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Amnesia Rebirth. This is the year of returns, so it only makes sense that Amnesia would also have a comeback. Amnesia Rebirth is a full-fledged sequel and sees players stuck in Algeria as Tassi Trianon with very little recollection of the past few days. Of course, terrifying beings are pursuing her, and Tassi will need to solve puzzles and manage her sanity to stay alive. Amnesia Rebirth is currently in the works for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain 2 takes the series' insane roguelite action and flawlessly translates it to 3D. Having entered early access last year, there have been a number of survivors, stages, bosses, items, and much more added since then. It's been quite the trip, but even more content, including the final boss, will arrive when it launches in August for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Switch. And that wraps it up. If you like what we are doing, please consider subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon. That way you will never miss out on any of our videos.